All right, welcome to the second day of exponential functions. We're going to look at some slightly different twists to it. So if you take a look at this first problem here, this is what we had in the pay it forward situation from the previous lesson. So we have the next narrow. So if we look at this, 2x versus 3x, this is next equals now times 2, where this is next equals now times 3. Because this one's repeatedly multiplying by 2, this one's repeatedly multiplying by 3. But in both the situations, everything you did in day one, we just started with one person doing the example. So you're switch it up a little bit. Let's say you get a cut, and that cut puts 25 bacteria cells into the wound. So 0 minutes in, when you get the cut, you have 25 bacteria cells. And they split every 15 minutes. So 15 minutes later, 30 minutes later, 45 minutes later, they split. So 25 split into 50, 50 splits into 100, and 100 splits into 200. You'll notice here the next now rule is still the same. Next equals now times 2. That's just what we did for the first day because everything just doubled. Times 2, times 2, times 2. What's different is the function rule, and it's important to understand that this difference is instead of just saying 2 to the x, we start with 25. So it's 25 times 2 to the x. Again, where we start, how it's changing. That's how they're similar to linear functions, is we have a starting point and how it changes, but the formula or the equations look much different. Now, when you graph it, it's still going to look like the 2 to the x graph. So this is the old graph of 2 to the x that we did on the first day. How is this one different? Well, this one's different because it starts at 25. So this one will start instead of at 1, maybe at 25 here, and just it'll look the same. It'll just start at 25. So if we have these situations that we want to look here on the second page is if they're 40, 50, or 100 cells, this doesn't matter as long as they're splitting. The next now rules, all of them will look like this. All right, so in these examples, everything's splitting, so that's why it's next equals now times 2. That's similar. What's the main difference? Well, it's how many cells are going in to start with, and that's where the function rules will change. So for situation A, so A, I'll just put that A, that starts at 40 and doubles times 2 to the x. Situation B starts with 50 times 2 to the x. Situation C starts with 100. But notice they're all times 2 to the x because our next now rule is next equals now times 2. So when you graph these, the main similarities is that they're all going to look that general exponential shape, and they're all going to be 2 to the x and that kind of growth. What's the difference? Well, A, for example, might start here, where B, I'll put that one in black, will start a little bit higher, but it'll have the same curve to it. And C might start way up there. But those are the differences and similarities when you graph these. And hopefully you understand. And if you have any questions, please let me know.